everyone.
Hello, 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 hello. Happy whatever day this is that you're listening to me. It's Friday for us. Happy Friday. We're so excited to be back visiting with you today, having this rich, lush conversation. Today, we are talking about the Chariot and the Strength cards, and have a lot of insight to share about these.
Yeah, and take some time and reflect on last week. So last week we talked about the lovers and the hierophant. And there was a lot of wisdom that came through there. I feel like, yeah, both of them. It started out with
Yep.
the hierophant and then it just moved
Yep.
beautifully into the lovers card and took us places where we didn't quite expect that it would take us. It was a beautiful journey. So just take some time and breathe in that gratitude for the wisdom. And if you have any questions, just post it in the comments wherever that is, and let us know about that. And before we even go in there, make sure you have your cards in front of you. So again, we're doing the strength and the chariot, right? I almost said the lovers.
Chariot. The lovers really wants to. That's funny. We keep
Yeah.
we had to reorganize some things after if you've been listening to the series, you'll know that the high priestess wanted her own show. So we gave her that, and so we had to shift some things. So the lovers was going to be paired with the chariot, but the chariot is with the strength card today. So
Yes. I'm
yes.
sure there's a wisdom to that we will uncover as we walk on this journey. So
Let's
have the
work.
cards in front of you so that we can activate it together. And Nicolette, are you ready to walk us through a
Yeah,
centering
so
exercise?
yes, absolutely. So, if you're in a place where you can anchor in with us and close your eyes. Obviously, if you're doing something like driving a car or something, please don't close your eyes. Come back to this and or just listen. You can really be in a meditative state even with your eyes open, and kind of seeing some of the imagery that wants to come through. So, go ahead and sit down, find a really, get comfortable in your space. Let your body settle. Close your eyes if you're available to. Breathe in deeply. Let your breath anchor you into this moment. And breathe out anything that is keeping you from your power. You find yourself standing before a magnificent chariot. It's carved of starlight and stone. Two sphinx rest in the front, one black and one white. Go ahead and see those sphinx in front of you. They're waiting for you to command them. The chariot stands tall, his crown gleaming, his hand steady through the folds. His control is not through force, but through focus. He turns to you and he says, "Direction is not about domination. It is devotion to the path of your soul."
Hmm.
You step closer and you feel your own will align with your purpose. You realize the chariot is not about running forward. It is about steering from within. The chariot begins to move, and the scene shifts. You find yourself in a meadow, quiet meadow, and you can see, for as far as the eye can see, There's meadow around you. Where you look over to the side and there's a woman dressed in white, gently opening the jaws of a great lion. Her strength is serene. Her gaze is unshaken. The strength card whispers, true power is not loud. It is love held steady. Feel the courage rise in your heart. It's soft but unstoppable. The chariot gave you direction, and strength teaches you the grace to sustain it. Take a deep breath in as you breathe in the willpower. And as you exhale, you breathe out compassion. Both are yours. Both are holy. And when you're ready, open your eyes and join us again.
Welcome back.
Mm.
I think we should start with the chariot. It was very interesting, like moving through the meditation and watching each and understanding like the wisdom behind them and also seeing what is not seen. You know, like
Mm.
when we'll get to it. Let's start with the chariot because
It's
you
yeah,
have a good experience with it.
it's also interesting as I was guiding that meditation, it's really clear why these two are together,
Yeah.
right? Um, I think they're both anchored in alignment,
Mm.
such a big degree. And we can kind of talk about that and get into it. But for the viewers, the first thing I want you to do is just, if you have your cards in front of you, go ahead and just observe the chariot. What is it that you see? I think the interesting thing about the chariot is it's so dominant, right? It
Mm.
feels very like just like ultimate presence.
It's commanding that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think it's also interesting because it's a very masculine figure. But the thing that I am being pulled into now is like the headdress on his head. I
Yes.
don't know if I've ever noticed before. Um, but there's just such a presence. It's just so um he knows where he's going.
Yeah. I also love that because usually when you think about those olden times chariot, or even when you're watching, the movies, there's always like some kind of thing that
Mhm.
helps direct the horses but in
Mm.
this case, there's like he has no control over those things, which
Mhm.
using the Sphinx, like those are powerful beings to have on
Mm.
a chariot,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
And
And
so again, yeah, go ahead.
um yeah, I think it goes back to the Sphinx really feel so symbolic of the alignment because Sphinx aren't going to just run like horses.
No.
They're on board.
They're so wise. They're like,
This is
oh,
their mission as much as it is the chariots.
exactly.
Right? They are
Yeah.
on board. they aren't being directed. They are the engine in this momentum, but it's by choice.
And I'm also getting like this duality because one is like black, one is
Mm.
white, but their headdresses are all both black and white. So it's like the
Mhm.
duality. What path do you want to go? We're here.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
I think you have a good experience with that with because you have the chariot for this month as a door.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like the
Mhm.
chariot won't move just for moving's sake. It
Mhm.
moves with direction and alignment. And you said it so beautifully when that came through.
Yeah, and the direction is not about domination.
Yeah.
It is devotion to the path of your
Yes.
soul. And so we were, as we do, having a little conversation before we got started today, and because it's in such alignment with my door, and we're, we were moving towards the end of the month, and so for anyone who doesn't know, Abigail and I, every year we do a compass. And so for each month we pull a door, which is one of the major arcanas, which is what we've been really digging into so far in the series. And then a key, which is one of the minor arcana cards, connected to, they kind of work together to be a guide for the month. And so the chariot is my door for this month. And of course, we've talked about this before. You have this expectation of how it's going to be, and you're like, okay, the chariot, I'm going to be moving forward. Like there's going to be forward momentum. And this is the first time I think that I have felt a deeper understanding of the chariot,
Mm,
because I always just saw the chariot as forward momentum, but it's not momentum for momentum's sake. It is in alignment with where you need to go. And so the beginning of the month, it was really kind of like a stalemate for me. And I'm like, come on, chariot, like what the heck?
oh,
What's going on? I thought you were showing up for me. But then um I got some clarity, and things really started to align. And that's where I started really feeling the energy of that forward momentum. So I think sometimes the chariot is about the forward momentum, but sometimes it is also about alignment.
like figuring it out. I feel like the Sphinx are notorious for this. At least the way I experience them, where they are guardians of the path and they tend to ask a lot of questions so you can gain clarity. So you even if you think you know what it is, they're there to help you solidify that. Like, is this what are we doing? So it's like you
Yeah.
jump. This is the imagery I'm getting. It's like we get on the chariot and we're like, okay, wait, there's no thing. How are we gonna get this going? And the Sphinx are like sitting there like, that's not how we're rolling. Can we talk for a minute? So it's like before it will even move, there has to be some kind of clarity. And then when you get that clarity, which brings in the alignment, because you're like, okay, now I know which direction I'm going and I know why I'm going, which brings in the devotion piece. I know why I'm going to, by I'm going this direction. And then the Sphinx are like, okay, well done, let's move. And at that point, it's like full speed. And I love that they pause before they move because if that wasn't the case, we would be thrown off, because it goes so fast when we are in alignment. And that's, I mean, I feel like that's a big piece of when we're aligned with something. We get the energy for it, we get the inspiration for it, like everything just moves because we're in that flow. And the chariot brings in that magic. But when we're not clear, when we're not in alignment, when things are, is I love that it won't just take us on this journey for
Just
just a second.
wherever, like full speed ahead in the wrong
Yeah.
direction, because that's not what we're asking for.
Exactly. And it would actually hurt us if we didn't
Yeah.
know. Like there's a, potential of going in a direction that would not be good for us. And I love that we're able to pause, figure things out, and then move in the direction that is in alignment with our soul. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
momentum for momentum's sake isn't productive,
Yeah.
right?
You get
So
burnt out.
it's exhausting, and you're maybe going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So, I think honoring a pause sometimes. Even though that can feel really uncomfortable.
Of
When you're
course.
ready and you're like, I want to, I'm ready to make some momentum and um life invites you to take a pause.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I'm on the chariot. I'm here, I'm ready. Um, we got some questions first. We need
Yeah.
to sort a few things out, and then we're ready to go moving
Yeah.
in the direction of your soul purpose. Um,
Exactly.
and so for me, this month it's been a lot around my business and finding some clarity in things. And thank goodness I didn't just step in and start moving in some direction because I needed to get to the heart of a few of the deeper clarity pieces um, to be able to feel really at ease in moving at
Yeah.
that like powerful dynamic.
Exactly. I love that. What was the other part that was coming? Oh, yes. I was going to say sometimes, and I know you've experienced this with the chariot, the times where you get the chariot and it's like go time, green light, and you don't have to worry about it, just like, let's go. And this, especially for you, this was one of the first times where you were put in that checkpoint first and you
Yep.
stalled and you're like, it is almost the end of the month. Are we going to
Yes.
move? What are we
Yes.
doing
I'm
here? You
like,
know?
okay, Chariot, like, what is it? And I think that is such an important piece of as we're working with these really powerful archetypes, is sometimes the lessons are not as straightforward. And there's also so many layers to the understanding of it. And so, a few blessings for me in that I had the pause, and even though it was uncomfortable, and I'm like, come on, what is happening?
Yeah.
I was able to surrender and then get some clarity and make the alignment. Um, but then I got this deeper awareness of the chariot. It's like, oh, the chariot isn't just forward movement for momentum's sake. It is a steady direction in the path that you're most meant to be
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
And so there's there's sometimes there's like the main thing that you're learning or kind of understanding, and then there's these little hidden like, oh, now when I'm working with the chart, I'm going to have this deeper understanding.
Yes.
And if I didn't have the opportunity to have that kind of that pause,
Yeah.
I maybe wouldn't have been able to fully kind of connect with the chariot, which is so much about alignment
Yeah.
as much as it is about the momentum.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you might have a chariot and you might not get any momentum, but you might get a lot of alignment. And that is preparing you for the momentum that you are desiring.
I'm thinking about some of the ways that I've experienced the chariot. I'm sure there's been a
Oh
year that I've experienced a pause, but I don't think I ever connected it with the chariot because I'm not.
hmm
But the one thing that comes to mind is finding my balance as we're moving forward. Because if you remember that you don't have, I mean, you can hold on to the thing, but you need to be sturdy. Like your core needs to be,
Mm.
like you have to be
Engaged.
solid or you get thrown off. So also in that momentum, the chariot is asking you, where's your core? Where's your center? Find your balance, root down, feel your feet. And also like this leaning back, like this is where it's like just
Mm.
kind of
Mm.
lean back and allow us to just move you forward. This,
Yeah.
yeah, like that part also comes in. The duality, finding your balance. Also, I guess that would be surrendering a little bit.
Mm.
Trust, there we go. There's a little bit of surrender,
Mm.
but I'm getting the trust is the big one because you can be like, but what if I get thrown off? But the Sphinx are like, we got you. We know where we're going. We have a good, steady pace. Now, can you just relax a little bit so we can take you? So I see this like leaning back a little bit as you're holding with your feet firmly like planted.
Yeah, the grounding, that's what's really
Yeah.
like, or I mean, not necessarily grounding because you're on,
Yeah. It would be on
but
that. Yeah.
you're but the center. being
Exactly.
centered in it, centered in your mission, centered in your purpose,
Yep.
and really strong in your foundation so that you can make momentum.
Exactly.
Because when you think about um, if you are wobbly or uncertain, um, that momentum's gonna whip you around, like,
Exactly.
right? And it can feel like whiplash.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And so, like, the trust and the surrender, the anchoring in and knowing you're on the right path.
Yeah.
But before any of that can happen, you have to get that alignment.
Exactly.
And once you're in alignment and you're anchored into your core and you're ready to move forward, then you can go at a much faster pace
Yeah.
because you're solid in it.
Yeah. Think of the alignment piece as a map. You gain a map of the terrain that you're going to be riding on. So you know the path, you know if it, where it's going to be bumpy, where it's just like smooth sailing, where there's going to be a little river coming up. You
Yeah.
got that clarity there. So you're confident on that
Hmm.
when you're moving in that
Yeah.
momentum. So think of
And
alignment as the map.
and that
Yeah.
was the clarity that needed to come in for me
Yeah.
because I was looking at 2026 and trying to see where I was putting more of my, where I was going to be putting my energy and attention for like outreach and networking. And I needed the clarity that I wanted to and was being called to focus on local connections and also um like podcast
Yes.
tour, like podcast
Yeah, I
um
love
guest
that.
podcasting. I'm calling it my podcast tour because I have a
Yes.
book coming out and I'm going to be promoting it, and I'm sure I'll be talking more about that. But I needed to be able to anchor in those things,
Yes.
and then once I did, that's when I started making forward momentum. I finished writing my book, and everything was like, yep, you're on the right track. You have the right map. Now we can start moving forward.
Yeah.
Um, and before I had that clarity of like the local connections and really using podcasting as a visibility, online visibility accelerator, I would have just been maybe throwing some spaghetti at a wall, and I don't
Yeah.
like, there's no need, so it was like I had to have this clarity come in, and then I finished my book. Like, it
Yeah.
happened really fast after that. So that was the momentum, kind of that accelerator, but I needed the map.
One thing I wanted to also bring up, and you said it so beautifully. You gave an example of it, which is also one of the reasons why we're doing this series. Because when you receive these archetypes, you can go and read about what they represent, and I can see most people will take the words and kind of stick to it.
A
But
lot of
when
times you have
you,
a book or a booklet,
yeah, yeah, but
and
when
and
you,
and or looking at it online and taking it from
yeah,
them, like, oh, this is what
exactly.
it means, right?
But not there's nothing better than experiencing these cards.
Yeah. The layers of understanding, like, based on where you're at and what you're experiencing. And like I've had the chariot as a door several times,
Yeah.
and that alignment piece never clicked for me. I think maybe because I was
It
already
was
in
a different,
alignment.
yeah, it was different.
So it was like this learning curve for me, and then it gives you like this really deeper appreciation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get like, until you start experiencing it, which is really what this whole series we're encouraging you to do,
Yeah.
is try this on for yourself and experience and understand it, because the revelations or layers that are going to be coming through for you, those stick. Like, you can read something. I'm sure I've read that the chariot is connected to alignment, but until you experience it, it's
Yeah.
really hard to conceptualize it.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. It becomes just words. And remember, when you experience these cards are archetypes that are reflecting you. And so what you're doing is actually giving yourself the opportunity to experience more of you. This is what this whole journey is about,
Yeah.
experiencing more of you. And you just have a mirror through these archetypes to go to certain areas that you might probably maybe you never would have went there without these doors or these key archetypes coming in to guide you there.
Yeah, and I just want to add the experiencing you and how you are maneuvering through the world. I think that's the other kind of
Absolutely.
dynamic piece to it because how there's a lot of times there's things that are outside of our control or influence. But how we respond is really the thing we have control over. So understanding kind of, this is interesting. Um, you know, I'm not, I'm feeling stuck. Like whatever, I'm trying to think of like a better tangible example. Maybe we'll move into the strength card and maybe it'll come there. But
Exactly.
um what was I saying? Oh, how who we are and how we are interacting with our exterior
Of
environment.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. That's like the second stage. The
Yeah.
first stage, you got to know who you are.
Mm,
Know the I am. Who am I? And then you can step outside with that information. And then whoever you're interacting with or whatever, hopefully they also show up as, this is who I am. Who are you? And then you're like, this is who I am. And then you operate from there. But we know in this world that's not always the case. But if you know who you are,
yeah.
you're solid. You're
Yes.
solid.
And you will be able to like, deal with those situations in a much more grounded way. I think um you said something and I wanted to respond to it, but I forgot now. So that's okay. Maybe we can
It'll
move on.
come by.
Yeah, let's move on to the strength card because I absolutely love the strength card so much. It's one of my
It's
favorites.
a beautiful card. It's a beautiful card with a lot of big message. And
Mhm.
there was a different word that wanted to come in, but it escaped. It's like big symbolism in there
Mm,
that could be easily that could be missed.
yeah, so if you have the strength card, really take a look at the strength. I love that my favorite thing about the strength card is it is a woman and a lion. And I love that it's a woman.
Yeah.
Because I think so often it's funny when you see the chariot and the strength card side by side, a lot of people would think of the chariot as strength, like this very
Because of how,
dominant,
yeah.
masculine power. But then the contrast is the strength card is really delicate in a way.
It says a lot about what strength truly is.
Mm,
I feel
yeah.
like I wanted to say this card really, it truly represents the feminine strength. But then when I said that, I was like, wait, I think that's just strength in general.
Yeah, it's
It's
strength.
not really masculine or feminine.
It's
There's,
anchored strength. It's
yeah,
internal strength. I think
exactly.
that is the biggest. It's not like positioning or
Yeah,
puffing out your chest. It's kind of the opposite of that,
yeah.
which is like anchored in calmness and grace and like presence and
And
that
even courage.
and courage. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Courage and trust.
Yes.
Um, so I think one of the strength if you don't have the card in front of you, it's a woman and she is either petting or what your interpretation of what
Yep.
she's doing with the lion could be up to interpretation, but there's
Yep.
a lion she's petting or taming, who knows what she's doing with the lion, whatever that. And she's so calm.
Yeah,
She doesn't seem
gentle.
concerned.
What I love about this imagery, like I'm even thinking the courage it takes for her to even step towards this lion.
Yes.
And then like just like the lion doesn't look, and again, this part is very unique to each person because I've
Yeah.
had clients who look at it and be like, "Oh my gosh, she's about to rip his mouth open," kind of thing. Like, "Oh my gosh, she has to protect herself." And again, it depends on your experience. So don't take mine and stop, like stick to it. Like whatever you see, there's a reason why you're seeing that. There's no right or wrong in this. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I look at it, it's like like this is funny. It's almost like, hey, what did you put in your mouth? You know, like when a dog grabs something and like open your mouth, get that thing out, kind of thing. It's like, what did you put in there? It's like
Mm-hmm.
this gentleness to it. And the lion doesn't look like it's in pain. It doesn't look like it's trying to like move away and she's like trying to like there's this trust between the both of them. And it says a lot about what really like I think everything we see on here is defining what strength really means.
Yeah.
Courage, trust, grace.
Mm.
Yeah,
I do think that's different compared to what strength is kind of represented in our society.
society, muscles,
Dominance,
loud.
which to me, like the strength card is more about taming, right? Or
Mm.
um kind of like managing sometimes. Well,
Could it be control? But not in a sense as controlling someone, but
yeah.
like controlling our own
Reaction or
wildness,
response are yes.
our
Our
own
response.
wildness,
Mm,
which I feel like that's what the lioness represents. It's like her wild nature. Maybe
mm,
control is not a word. I feel like there's that, when you know who you are and you
mm.
understand it
Like a
and
confidence.
yeah, you know when to roar when it's time and you know
Yes.
when to just have
Like a
that silent power.
having that restraint.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having the restraint, and being an observer or kind of being having the detachment, I think is such because, in society, people think of strength as I feel like a lot of times it's kind of interpreted as like dominance
Yeah.
or um just pure brute willpower.
Like physical strength. Yeah.
Yes. But I think, and especially because there is this very feminine energy to this card, that some of the bigger, deeper strengths that we have is our vulnerability.
Which
And
is very interesting, isn't it? Because it's
yes,
like, how can your vulnerability exude strength?
yeah, how can it? That's a
Yeah.
question for everyone to
Yep.
listen.
To
Or if you're
contemplate on and
listening,
journal on.
contemplate
Yeah.
how can your vulnerability actually create strength inside and courage. I think for one thing, being vulnerable is very courageous.
Yes.
And when we can be vulnerable, and open and honest about the things that we are vulnerable about, um, how do I want to say this? I heard this one time and this is coming in, so I'll just say it. When you can say the thing and be really just, this is it. This is how I feel. This is what I'm experiencing. No one can come and try to like hold that against you. You can't be
Mm.
shamed when you're being vulnerable and honest and standing in your courage. Like there's there's power in being able to be the one who says, this is some of my vulnerability. I'm laying it out on the table. And what are you gonna do about it? Like, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining it really
I feel like
eloquently.
there's an aspect of discernment too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's when you said that, when you're able to lay it on the table, nobody can shame you. But I think what the other piece to that is because it's coming from a place where you're solid within yourself, that it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what anybody says or does, you
That's true.
know your truth. You're
You
so,
already know. You know
yeah,
who
yeah.
you
So
are.
it doesn't
You
matter
know
if
what
someone
you
steps
stand
up and you're
for.
like,
It doesn't, you aren't
yeah,
going to have to shrink
exactly.
in
Yes,
someone else's opinion of it. Because
exactly.
you have a knowing, you have this inner knowing, and that's strength.
And I
Define.
think it's telling us that strength has more to do with our inner world than our
Yes.
outer
Our
world.
inner, it
Yeah.
absolutely has everything to do with our inner world. And I think about this like as a really tangible example. Who would you feel safer with? Someone who reacts to a situation really volatile and like just reacts in this instant, or someone who is able to sit back, receive all the information, and then respond accordingly.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's that kind of inner, it's the inner strength because when we have a trust in ourselves, when we can trust ourselves to respond to things, then we feel like time is on our side. We don't have to be the loudest or
Yeah.
the most overpowering. We can sit back quietly and observe a lot of things, and that can put us in a position of strength.
Absolutely. I think there's something about sitting back when everybody's especially loud because you get to see so much more than
Hmm.
any of those who are busy screaming and talking and trying to get their point. You get to see so much more, and then you get to present from all that collected information. You get
Hmm.
more to work with versus if you were, I feel like when you're stuck in that, I have to prove myself, I have to be louder, you miss so much that is being shown to you. So, and it takes a lot to restrain yourself, or,
Hmm.
I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
just come here and just kind
Yes.
of watch. I also think there's an aspect of, what is the word I'm looking for? You experience that where it's like, oh, you experience that in the Queen of Swords. What is that? Where you choose when to show that inner power and when not. What am I
Dis
looking for?
oh,
Discernment. There's
discernment, is
an
that what it was?
aspect of
Okay.
discernment in this because, again, we all hold
Yes.
much power within ourselves. We can
Yes.
all choose to roar whenever we
Yes.
want, but
But we get to choose
it's like when
when.
is
When
it
do you
more
need to roar
powerful
and
when I do?
how? And
Yes,
how?
and how?
How are you
Exactly.
going to assert yourself? Or
Yeah.
and I think the other thing that's really important about strength to me is strength isn't also strength isn't necessarily about anyone observing it.
Yes. Yep.
Some of our strongest moments come when we're alone
Yes. Yeah.
and we feel defeated by something or whatever it is that you're experiencing, and you find the courage to do the right next thing for yourself,
Yeah.
even though no one's watching.
Exactly. Yeah. Even like I'm thinking this example, days where you open your eyes and like, I don't know how I
I
can
don't know how
get
I'm going
up
to do
and
this
do.
day.
And
Yeah.
yet you get up, you make yourself tea, you take care of your children, you cook breakfast, and at the end of the day, you're like, I don't know how I did it, but I
Yeah.
did it. That took strength. Strength
Yeah.
that only is inside of you. It's not something that someone had to give you.
Yeah.
It's not, you had to dig deep to find that to do what you needed to do. And we need to spend time honoring and
Yeah.
acknowledge these moments where we find the deeper strengths within us because it is
Yeah.
very important.
It's not always the loud celebrated moment,
Yes.
right? It's, I think strength, the interesting thing about strength is for a culture that kind of is hyper um obsessed, for a lack of a better word, or like maybe not obsessed, but superheroes
Yeah.
and people like
Ah,
and
yes.
brute force and dominance and kind of bullying and using our will to push other
Push.
people
Yeah.
or manipulate situations or whatever it is. I think that's kind of glamorized in our society in certain
Yes.
places. The interesting thing is strength is actually the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Strength is the quiet whisper that makes you say something because what just happened in that situation wasn't okay.
Yeah.
Strength is the quiet moments when, we have that day that we didn't know how we were going to get through it and we get through it and it's not celebrated. It's not going to be glamorized. It's actually the opposite of what like a lot of our constructs are showing what
Yeah.
strength is. Strength is solid, but it's quiet.
Is solid within you. I was thinking, just looking at the card, and I was thinking, because I think there's a purpose to also the physical strength that we've seen. Like what the
Mm.
the brute
Yeah.
force and it comes in. But again, bringing
Stereotype.
that, yeah, bringing that discernment. When is that needed and when is the other one
Yeah.
needed? Because we
Sure,
have
because
both.
there's moments
We
where,
have both.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing to me, I think one of the most important things to kind of investigate around strength is our emotional strength.
Oh my God. I feel like that's more important than even any other
It's the
strength.
core of it.
Intellectual,
It's the
physical.
core. Our
Oh my
emotional
God.
strength gives us that discernment. Our emotional strength gives us the ability to be take the pause or to be the observer.
Yeah.
Our emotional strength is what gives us the ability to move through that really hard day
Yes.
or to be a little more patient in that situation that is asking for patience. Like it really connects back to our own emotional regulation.
Yeah.
And so if if you're easily tempered or, anger easily, that's kind of strength is probably asking where how can we bring this back into a more solid form?
Also, I love that, but also add into that because we know that when we react like that, it's because we've ignored the initial, like the initial alarm that a boundary has been crossed. Like when like there's always something behind it
Oh,
that is
go
like getting
deeper.
louder so that
What
you
is
can,
what is it?
yeah. And so,
Yeah.
like, if you're someone, I don't want someone who's like, more outwardly reactive to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to bring it down. Like, you need to ask
Oh,
yourself, why? What is it that I need to see? What is it that is trying to get louder so that it can
mm,
be heard? Because
yes.
there's usually a boundary crossed, and your nervous system's like, this is not okay, this is not okay, and it's trying to put that there,
That's
but
true.
how it's expressed is very different for everyone.
Or there's maybe some hidden hurt.
Absolutely.
That
There's
could
always
also
something
be,
behind it.
there's something underneath it.
Yes.
And so like asking those differentiating questions to understand it is what's kind of going to help you create more balance in your strength.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
know,
the other thing I just want to say is strength is really graceful.
yes.
There's a lot of grace in true strength. And so when we have, hmm, when, for example, we're in a heated argument or we're in a situation where maybe, how do I want to say this? If we're in a situation where sometimes a good question to ask is, where can you give grace to yourself, to someone else? There's a lot of grace and strength
Yeah.
because of the emotional piece of it. When someone's acting volatile, it's usually because they're hurting somewhere inside of them. I'm not giving them
Of course.
like an excuse or there's
No.
no, but
This is a choice. What do you
it's
do with
the
it?
two
Yeah.
things can be true at one time. There's polarity in it. You can give grace and also hold people to account at the same time.
Yes.
But giving the grace is what really amplifies the strength because that's where we can respond in discernment, compassion, and try to bring deeper awareness and understanding instead of just like brute strength or just this is the way it is or
Yes.
one-sided way. um I've had situations or people in my life that were very volatile, and at the heart of it was like a really fractured person.
Yeah.
And so strength and grace. The grace gave me the ability to have compassion, and the strength gave me the ability to move out of that situation for myself because I didn't want
Yeah.
to
And put
be,
boundaries.
yeah, and
Yeah.
put boundaries. Um,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a screaming match. It was, Grace, okay, I'm really sorry that you have this hurt in you that you can't, that this keeps bubbling up. And in order to protect myself, I need to put distance. So I think a lot of times, if when strength is showing up, there's an invitation to ask, where can I give more grace?
Hmm. That's beautiful. I feel like there's so many faces. So let's look at, I want to invite you guys to notice the different levels of strength. So we have emotional strength, intellectual strength or mind strength. We have spiritual strength. We have physical strength.
Mhm.
Um, like all of those, they
They're
all
all
come to,
important.
they're all important. So look at, like, really take a look at yourself and ask which of these is more, uh,
Like more relevant for me right now,
yes, or
or
even
or
more.
present in this situation,
Yes.
or
And
right.
also, I feel like there are people that are gifted in
Mm,
one or two, or
true,
maybe all of them, who knows? But there's some areas that are where we can be strong at. Like there are
true,
some people who are so strong mentally that
true.
like nothing can even budge them.
Yes.
And there are others who are naturally strong emotionally, right?
Mm,
Like I want you to take account of where you've like your like the root of your strength has been
mm.
showing up currently. Now, it doesn't mean the other areas don't matter. It just means that this is the area that you've cultivated and put more energy, which means you can do the same in the all the other areas.
And on a flip side, you can ask yourself, where do I feel weak?
Yeah.
Because that might be where you want to put some more attention to building your.
Yeah, take care of the roots and get
Yes.
some. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's
So,
like we're not stuck with just one. We have all of it, and we
mhm,
can nurture each of them. And, depending on where we are in our lives, one area might be called forward than the other, but we
mhm.
can still cultivate all of them so that whenever we need it, we just grab it, right? And it's a journey. Please don't be like, I don't want you to be hard on yourself. It's a
Yeah.
journey, and our lives, our journey kind of dictates where, which strength comes when and how. And you just observe that and
Yeah.
notice, okay, this is what's coming in at this time. Oh, I didn't know I was emotionally that strong, and
Yes.
you honor it, and like, oh,
And
wow, my
sometimes it can
mind.
feel like weakness.
Yeah,
Like,
I
give you
know.
an example. I think if you pull strength, right, and you're feeling really vulnerable, like you're in this area where you're just like, how is this there? it could be inviting you to give yourself grace. It could be inviting you to hold compassion for yourself. It could be inviting you to look at how you can strengthen that part of your life. So,
Yeah.
um, strength looks so different. It has so many different faces, like you said. Sometimes you might pull strength because you're in a really strong position, and other
Yep.
times you might pull strength because you need to call in your support system,
Yes.
call in spirit team, call in the things that are going to help you feel stronger to move through it.
Yeah. You
It's
know,
the
this
both the whole complexity of it.
we're going to give you this homework. I want you to define what strength means to you. With all
Mm,
this information that you've received and what has awakened within you, what is strength to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
mm.
Take some time and write it down. This is not something that, is it's not universal. It's your answer. It's just for you. That's it.
And your answer in this moment in time can change.
Exactly, because it
Yeah.
changes. So
Yes.
it's just to give you that clarity on what it looks like right
What
now. And
does strength,
also,
what does
yeah,
strength represent to you? And then to add on to that, I think, where do you feel really strong?
yes, I love
Where are
that.
your strengths, right? And then where do you feel maybe a little more, where do you feel weak?
I love that because that's part of the journey with these archetypes. Sometimes when they pop in, they'll teach you the opposite end of it. So you
Yeah,
might
to
receive the
build
strength.
into strength so that
Yeah.
you can, right?
You might receive strength and then you experience everything that makes you feel weak. But then through that, you realize that you are stronger than you can imagine, right?
Yes.
So just experiment, like look at the
Reflect,
card.
reflect on these questions.
Yes,
And have conversations with your
exactly.
friends and people you trust about strength. Like, let's just start a conversation about what is strength.
Yeah.
Because I think it's such a like, I feel like it's very dynamic
It's not
word.
what you think. This is
Yeah,
the
and when I had strength as my door several months ago, and it was one of the hardest months I've had this whole year.
yeah.
Um, and what it was showing for me was how strong I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, so and come back and let us know what you think when you are reflecting on some of these questions because of course, that's why we're here. We love to have the
Yes.
conversation. We love to hear the full, we want all the input. We want all
Yes.
of it. We want all of it.
So I want to share this. Maybe
Mhm.
this will help put things in perspective in terms of how dynamic strength is. So, and this is just coming, I'm bringing it, the example is through physical strength.
Mhm.
Usually when you think about someone who's strong, you're looking for big muscles, like really
Mhm.
built. I know there's many times where I watch a lot of these more like Qigong and like more flow
Mhm.
style workouts on either YouTube or TikTok, and I
Mhm.
do it too. And sometimes you have a woman show up and she's very sleek, or even a man very sleek, like you would never think this
More
strong.
petite,
And
yeah.
then they start moving in a way that you know that they need that core strength in order to do that move so smoothly because you try it and you're like, I can't even lift my leg up.
Right? You're like,
Yeah.
wow, you just lifted your whole
Yeah.
body up like that.
And
And
you
like,
don't look like
and the
you have
big
any
muscle
big
guy
muscles.
isn't able to move like that.
So
And so
yeah,
I think it goes
yeah.
back to like identifying our own strength,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because those two different, very different structural body compositions can be really strong in different ways.
Exactly. You cannot look at the book and be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be this way.
Yeah.
Strength, the way it's defined is only through you. You know your strength. You know, like it's in you. Whether you want to see it or not, is there. And it's taking the time to witness when this archetype steps forward and why he or she steps forward and how he or she steps forward. Like
Yeah.
that's
And
the
then being
journey.
really great, like appreciative of that part, that strength
Yes.
inside you.
Yeah.
Because even when it's not stepping forward, it's probably working under the undercurrents. You are
Yes.
so much stronger than you give yourself credit for, I promise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all have this strength, and it's
Mhm.
time for you to know yours with
Yeah,
no doubt.
and when we can move through this world in a way of valuing, understanding, and appreciating these different ways that strength shows up, you're going to start recognizing it in other people too.
Yes.
And having this bigger appreciation for someone who is maybe like going through a really hard, challenging situation, but is still able to show up and make the funny jokes just to keep like
Yes.
there's so many different ways that we can be strong. And it deserves credit, even though it's those quiet moments that aren't often celebrated.
Yeah.
Those I would love to see people celebrating those more often because that
Yeah.
is what is creating um a really strong world.
So we're gonna leave it here because these portals, we can go deep and deep, but it doesn't matter what information we share. It's about how you take that and integrate that and experience it yourself. And hopefully we can hear you share it with us. What is your take? What did you receive from it? How did it make you feel? What came up for you as you were listening to our expression of these two archetypes, the strength and the chariot?
Yeah, and maybe you're like, that doesn't feel in alignment with how I experience strength or this is what happens and that's all true and real. That's good.
Exactly.
We love that.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
love that. So come and share. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed because we come every week going deep on these major arcanas and talking about just the real life
Yes.
person. These are all just the deeper parts of ourselves, like Abigail was saying, and how we're maneuvering. And when we know thyself, that is strength.
Absolute strength. The goddesses will say so. Absolute strength. So next week, we're switching gears now. We're going to go within, and then we're going to also play with balance. So we're working with the Hermit and the Wheel of Fortune.
Hmm.
I know both are very influential
Ooh,
for you, Nicolette. You've had good experience
I
with both of them.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so much depth to every single card. It's hard to just put a snapshot. So yeah, excited to get into that. And in the meantime, please, please, please do those reflection questions. Come and share your experience. And yeah, until next time, have a
All
great
right, my dears. Mwah. Bye.